Hello, awesome artists. This is Mrs. Eads, and I'm going to show you how to do a contour drawing of an object, which is what we are going to be working on this week. And a contour drawing is really just an outline of the object that you want to draw. Much like if you were drawing for a coloring book company and they needed you to say they wanted a coloring book page of a shoe or whatever item that you have at home that you want to draw for your contour drawings. You just want to do the outline and basic details. So similar to what we were doing with our realistic observation drawings that we did last week. This week we are still going to be working from a live object, but this time we're just going to be working with the outlined shape. So to begin with, you might want to just take your finger and move it around the object slowly and have your eye follow it just to get a feel for the shape that you are going to be trying to draw. And then once you get a good feel for what the shape is going to be, and you can even go through it a couple times if you want. So I know that this shape is going to be sort of almost like a triangle. If you could imagine if this was one end of the triangle and then it comes out long over here and then long over here, just like that. So it's going to be a triangular-ish shape. I know that now. And so then I'm going to try to make my pencil do what my other hand is drawing. This is just a simple way to do it. You don't have to use your pointer finger, but when you're starting out trying to do this type of drawing, it can be helpful. I'm going to draw light with my pencil first. You might want to use a lighter pencil than you normally work with. This is just my Prismacolor Ebony pencil that I like because it shows up better in the video so that you can see what I'm drawing. But you might want, if you have a drawing pencil set, a number or letter H or anywhere to like a 4H is a great light colored pencil or value of pencil that you might want to try. So I'm going to set my pencil here and have my finger here, and then I'm going to try to have my pencil do what my hand is doing. So we're just going to come way slow, and as my finger moves, I'm watching my finger. I'm not watching what my pencil is doing. This is a very slow process. With gesture drawing that we've done in the past this week, we were working very fast. Now we're working very slow, trying to make our drawing hand do what our non-drawing hand is doing, and just try to make them follow along together, working slowly. And you can do this with any object that you have. So now I know that I'm going up a little bit, and I apologize, this is so quiet. I know it's kind of weird drawing when it's so quiet, but your brain really needs to concentrate. This is a hard hand-eye coordination concentration exercise. And I'm going to go up and out and around to capture that triangular shape that I was talking about. I know that we're going to be moving upward. Again, I'm watching my non-drawing finger, not so much the paper. You can look down every once in a while, and I can tell it's a little bit off, but that's okay. Don't stress about making mistakes because we can go back and fix it and get your proportions right in a little bit. Now here I have an issue because I have this object that goes up and down. So I have to decide, am I going to make the pencil go down and around and back over that way or this way? Which is going to be easier for you to get back on track? For me, I think it's going to be easier to go down and back than to try to go up and over. I don't know. Maybe that was a mistake. I don't know, but we'll find out. It's just part of the process. Yep. And now I can get back to where I was. Eek. So I think I messed that up. I was here. So this is here. I need to reset and come back down and go slow. I think I'm trying to rush through this a little bit too much for you guys. So I've gotten off on my proportions, but that's okay. I will just fix it as we come back up. And I'm gonna make this line of the shoe go back over. And then I'm gonna come down around to make this part, and I'm gonna have to come back. So yeah, I'm gonna fix this. Let's see what happened. So I got off on this, and you will make mistakes. It happens to everybody. Trust me. Now I'm going to fix the heel of the shoe and redo it because the proportion is off. And you really need to have that correct. So don't be afraid to go back over it again and kind of fix some of those lines. Sometimes it takes a couple times. Take your time. I'm gonna go back through the whole shoe and make sure that I get it the way that I feel that it needs to be. Now, when I'm up here, there's this little purple thingy, so I'm gonna get that. And maybe you wanna try to capture some of the details of the shoe too. So if I come back to the purple thing, I can tell that I come down, and then there's where the white begins. So I'm gonna follow along that. You can even touch it if you want to, if it doesn't bump your object. And that can give you a different sort of sensory way to tell what is going on with the lines that you see. Lines going up and over. And I'm afraid I'm going to knock it over. There, so coming back over here, it comes down. And it's going up. I can feel that it's going up. And I'm going to go back down very slowly. My pencil was a little bit ahead of me, but I got the gist. So it's not perfect again, but I can at least know that this is a shoe. I have that impression down. So what I'm going to do, I know that this is off from how it should be. So now that I've got the basic outline, now is the time I'm going to go back and try to fix some of those things. Where I know that this line comes down and then comes over, and then it's going to go up, and it's going to go into the Velcro strap thing there. So I'm going to fix that. You guys can see that. Okay, and then this is where the Velcro is. It goes up, 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 and over and down. And there is the tongue of the shoe. And if I look at where it is here, you can see, look for shapes anywhere you can. So I see there's kind of a little bit of a triangle shape going on with the tongue. So I'm going to try to create that here. And there's also another smaller, lighter gray triangle shape in there also, like right here I see. So I'm going to make that. Then I'm going to add, like, the strip of Velcro is right here, and it's kind of off center from the strap. It starts in the middle of the strap, comes down a little ways, and it's right there, okay? Now you do not have to do an object that is as complicated as a shoe to draw. Shoes are very challenging, trust me. But it's a very interesting object to draw if you are looking for a challenge. But feel free to use something like a cup or a vase or something like that. You could even draw like your favorite box of mac and cheese or something that has like a geometric shape. Those might be easier ones to start out with trying to draw than trying to draw a shoe, but I am all for having you guys attempt what challenges you as an artist. All right, so I have the basic shape outline there, and this is where the tongue is going to come down. This, I can tell there's the strap there. It comes down a little bit, and then there's where the laces hit. So I'm going to add in my laces and what I see from my angle. This may be different from what you see on my video, but from where I am and where I'm drawing, this is what it looks like. Okay, so I've got my laces in, and right about here, there's a sort of a dotted seam. So I'm gonna, I know you're not, I'm just trying to lightly do it here. Okay, and let's see what else. There's where the laces end, and so where the laces end here, there's like sort of a mesh part to the shoe that creates another triangle. I see a leather triangle right here, so that's with the seam. So I'm going to try to find where that triangle would be here, and then just draw a light line to create that triangle. So here's my triangle. And then I'm going to add in these stripe details, because now that my basic shoe outline is done, I can add in some details. These line up with where the laces are, so I'm going to hit the lace. This is lined up with that lace, 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 lace. Look for what you can use your eye to kind of help guide with. Let's see, so I had this one in. I'm missing a lace here for some reason. I made the crossover lace, but I need to add in another lace. And you remember, you want to line up your angles of your lines so that they are parallel. Always want to make sure that add that in, and it goes underneath this lace. And then I have these two laces, and there's a part of the stitching there. And I'm gonna make that go up like that. Stitching kind of comes down and around. So this is just what my object looks like. And then I'm gonna use the laces to figure out where the details need to be. Okay, so I'm gonna have a little thick line there. This one lines up with here, and it's a little bit shorter than the last line I drew. And then at the top of this lace here is the other line, and it gets shorter and shorter. All right, so I have those details in. This is sort of a mesh section, like I mentioned, and it cuts off. If I go over, I'm looking for the shape, and I can see kind of like a rectangle shape if I'm just blocking out this and not including this little mesh section. So there'll be a little bit of a mesh section here, but I'm looking at the shape, and it's about like right there. So I'm just gonna draw that line up there, and it curves a little bit because the shoe rounds over. Okay, there's some stitching details. If you want to add in details like that, you can do dotted lines. However, remember, we are really just focusing on the outline of your shoe and making it as if it was for a coloring book page that somebody else could color in. So we don't want to have too many details. This is part of the sole of the shoe that I do want to add in that. I'm going to erase some of my beginning lines that I had so that it's not confusing. So now's the time to go back and do that. Any lines that you don't want to show. Whoa! And like, for example, this was my first attempt over here. I got off on my proportion, so I'm going to erase those lines. And I'm keeping this because this is a different color that I can see. But these, I don't want those lines. These. And now what I'm going to do, so I used a type of paper that is thicker than or heavier than what we have used in the previous weeks, because as we're just starting with our art, I don't like for you to waste the expensive paper. Just because save the good paper for when you have a more formal exercise like this. Like, I really might want this to be a nice drawing of a shoe. So I'm using what's called Bristol board, and you can see it doesn't bend very easily. It's heavy, it's thick, and it doesn't have give to it like my sketchbook paper does. Like, here is a piece of just sketchbook drawing paper, and you can see like it bends extremely easy. This one is more like a card. It's like really thick, but it's great for when you want to draw with marker on it and have a more finished looking piece. So now I'm going to take my Sharpie, and I'm going to still be looking at my object. Again, we look about 90% of the time at the object and about 10% at our paper. And again, it's still going to be slow, but I already have my sketch lines done, so it's going to be a little bit easier of a process. I'm not having to figure out where everything is going to be on my paper. So I can go a little bit faster, but not much. Again, this is a really slow type of drawing. Make your eyes be where your drawing hand is, and if you need to, continue to follow along and make your drawing hand do what your other hand is doing. I'm going up and around. You can even touch it if you need to. That is a great way to start learning how to do this type of drawing. Right, I think I have it down now, so I'm just going to move this guy along. And I'm going to add in my shoelace. Try not to have your pen or pencil, whatever you're working with, lift the paper. Try to have it, see if you can do it. And even if you have to go back over lines, that's just fine. You can go over things. Like, see, I have to come back up here to keep my marker on the page. And then I'm going to come back down and around to hit this shoelace. And sometimes you might get a little bit confused. Your eyes might go, where are we on the paper? And that's okay. Just stop and figure it out, and then start back up again. And here we're at the Velcro thingy. And I'm going to keep my pen on the page and just go back up and over. If you want to color in that area, you can. Like, for me, that's like a really just darkened area, so I'm going to color that in. But we're really not working on shading today. We're only working on outlines. I just want to do that for effect. And your drawing will not look exactly like my drawing unless you have the exact same shoe that you're working with. but you might choose to do something else. You could use some of the natural items that you found from our observation drawing if you want to. Okay, and again, this takes lots of practice, so don't beat yourself up if you're having a really hard time with this. And please try simpler objects to start with. That is a great way to do it. Things with geometric shapes could be a great place for you to begin, and are a great thing to practice in your sketchbooks. Start with a hot chocolate mug or your TV remote. But I just wanted to show you the process. And up here, got a lighter line. There are the meshes. And this is where the stitching was. So if you want to do dotted lines, because we talked about line variation in our reading this week. And this goes all the way up here. Feel free to use thick lines, thin lines, zigzag lines. Maybe you're doing something with a spiral in it. Let's see. Oh, and then I have a lighter line that's just part of the sole of the shoe that I see. And there is a like sort of a purple down here that I can see just from the angle that I have my shoe at. So I'm just going to put a few hash lines just to show that it's a little bit darker down there. But you don't have to do that on yours. So here's where the Velcro strap is, and I can tell that I messed up a little bit because the should come down a little bit further and closer to the seam. This shape here is not the same as what I drew. So you can fix it, but with contour drawing, it's kind of a hard thing to go back and fix. So I'm just gonna redo it like that. And that's okay. It still works. And then I'm just gonna go in and erase my sketch lines. And while it's far from perfect, it's definitely a contour drawing and an outline, and somebody could print it in a coloring book for an image of a shoe. Now, oh, I see where I missed a line. This is why we want to erase our sketch lines if you choose. It's great to sketch it out just to help you at first as we're learning. Soon you won't even have to do that. But I see I missed a spot here. I missed connecting. So I'm gonna go back and connect that. It's a little bit, you look for the shape. I see it goes down. So it came down, and then this is the part of where the tongue of the shoe is. And that is the outline of my shoe. Well, actually, it's my daughter's shoe, but it's an outline of a shoe. And I'm excited to see what you guys come up with for your contour drawings.